Hey guys, it's Duke here for the Intimacy Liberation Army. And today we're talking about how to get over insecurities about your appearance. Jump right into it. It's common to have insecurities about your appearance. We're talked to from so many different places, from the media, from the insecurities of the people around us, to comparing ourselves with others. All of these things can give us a little bit of a complex and figure out, like, oh, I'm not as good as the next guy, or I'm not as attractive as the next human. And sure, I mean, you have what you want. You have what you have, and you can obviously, accentuate it a little bit with how you dress and, how your hygiene is and all that, whatever. But at the end of the day, most of the insecurities that come from your comparison with an ideal or other people have nothing to do with how you should behave, right? I talked a little bit briefly in the last video about how even if you have fear, it shouldn't change your behavior in a social environment, because the fear generally only holds you back. It doesn't help you move forward. When it comes to insecurity about your appearance, there are so many things that you can't change, or you can't change quickly. And so thinking about all of your inconsistencies, thinking about all the ways that you could be better, generally doesn't motivate you to get better in the short term. You can sit around and hate yourself and force yourself to go to the gym because you don't like where you are. It's a very common thing to kind of wake up in the morning, get mad, and then force yourself to go for a run or go to the gym or whatever, or eat right or whatever, that can make a direct effect on you. But most people that I've met think that this is like the cure-all to motivation. They're like, oh, as long as I stay mad at myself, I'll continually be motivated to make a change. And that's actually false. Like, it doesn't actually help people who go on these diets and get all crazy and just hate themselves over and over again. That's not a practical long-term motivator for most humans. Like, if we're constantly feeling bad about ourselves, we generally just move to the coping mechanisms that will make us feel better, rather than use that as fuel to continue to carry on in a change or transformational strategy long term. And the root of that really is the manifestation principle of, if you feel like you don't have it, you're living in lack, and you convince your nervous system that you don't have it, right? It doesn't help motivate really at all. It just helps the emotional side get angry and oscillate and make you feel like you're doing something. So in that vein, insecurity about your appearance, wherever you're at, whether you're too short, too fat, too old, too bald, too whatever the fuck, it doesn't matter, because it's not like having those insecurities and beating yourself up is not actually going to change your scenario. I had a student of mine once. He was worried that he was losing his hair up here. He started getting this widow's peak or whatever, and he thought that was like a big deal in his appearance. And he said, oh man, I'm just gonna have to settle for girls who don't like hair, and it's just really sad because it's gonna limit my options. I'm like, bro, first off, it's not that big of a deal. If you make it a big deal, it's gonna be a big deal. And secondly, if you're so fucking mad about it, go change it. Like, don't sit around being mad about it, because that doesn't do anything. He's like, yeah, you're right. So he went off and got hair plugs, like really high-end ones, and now he loves his hair, and there's no problems anymore. Like, big deal. Like, next thing. And so if you're having something that can be solved in a more long-term thing, like if you think you're too fat, or if you think you're not built enough or whatever, and you got to take fucking a year or a year and a half to do body transformation and change your body composition, then fucking go out and do it. Go find something you like to do, hire a high-end personal trainer. I got a buddy, his name is James Dermengian. He helps guys train for the military elite level tests, and he does a fitness program that's fucking rigorous and ridiculous, and he, will click through all your videos and fix your form and make a specific workout plan for muscle growth and fat loss, and he crushes it. So if you are a man of means, or you can hire somebody to handle your shit, go hire somebody to handle your shit. I'll put his link in the description below in case you give a shit about that and you want to go do that. But like, at the end of the day, if the problem is there and it's solvable, then you should do what it takes to solve it. If it's not solvable, then you should stop fucking worrying about it. And either way, you should stop beating yourself up for not being where you want to be. Just go get where you want to be, however long it takes, and refuse to give up and get there. And, I know that's easy for me to say for something as psychological as like weight loss, but hating on your appearance does nothing for your behavior, and it does nothing for your motivation. So go get it handled, and if you can't handle it, let it the fuck go. That's my basic thing. But here's some tips in the list to kind of move that forward. Like I said, my primary answer is just fix it if it's a problem. I don't care what you think. If you hate your nose and you want to go get plastic surgery, fucking figure out how to pay for it and go. Do it. Whatever. But what's more effective is just practicing self-acceptance. The concept, and this is tip number 1, practice self-acceptance. The concept that we're ever going to be perfect is trash. Like, no matter how far we move in our lives or how successful we get, like even Elon is like on his like 5th major long-term relationship. Like, it's, you can be at the top level in your field and still fuck up your home life, and you can be at the top level of your field and still fuck up your diet. There's all these different things that you have to focus on, and you cannot excel in every single one of them unless you fucking build each one over time. And then you have to maintain at the top of the heap if you're comparing yourself with everybody else. If you're doing innovative shit like trying to send people to the moon and send people to Mars and build an electric car economy and fight AI, like, sure, you're going to focus on those things and burn out your workday, and then you might not have a lot of time to make the mother of your children feel significant, and that's your choice. So would you rather be perfect in every area of your life, or would you rather focus on the things that you really want to focus on and then get the enjoyment out of that process, and then kind of let the other things be at a acceptable level? And I think it was Jordan Peterson. He was saying, it's much better to be 80% on 5 domains of your life than it is to be 120% on one, for most people. And so do that. Like, you may want to make $250,000 a year, but chasing $1 million a year might make you have a shitty family life. So you just make that choice to, live comfortably financially, and then, never be a fucking true multimillionaire, but, have great children and have plenty of time to spend with your friends and family, and build your social aspects of it. That whatever's important to you, you're going to chase. So when you practice self-acceptance, it's specifically, you don't necessarily want to be perfect or have all of your flaws or imperfections gone. You want to create something in your head that accepts you for who you are, along with your flaws, along with your imperfections, along with the things that you think could be done better. And while you're living your life, feel free to make strides and changes towards the direction you want to go, knowing that you're making progress. Progress is the key part of happiness anyway. So might as well work on the things that you want to work on and get there eventually. There was a time in the beginning of my jiu-jitsu career that I just wanted to fucking blow through and, get my black belt and be great. I went into the first jiu-jitsu class thinking, okay, I'm smarter than all these motherfuckers, and I'm going to get my blue belt in like under a year. Everybody gets in like a year and a half to 3 years, and I'm going to get mine in under a year. And that is not what happened. It took me 3 years to get mine. And, but by the time I got it, I was taking home medals in the tournaments and beating people at my level, and had proved a real mastery of the level that I was looking to master. And same thing when I got my purple belt. I'd kind of gotten I'd gotten complacent. I didn't care what color my belt was. I just wanted to train, and do tournaments. And so I did that, and I competed, and I got medals, and then I eventually got my purple belt, and I was like, okay, cool. Next step on the journey, boom, And so now I'm not trying to go for my brown belt. I'm just trying to compete at purple at the highest level as I can, and then eventually somebody will hand me my red belt. Like I stopped caring about like getting the little roadblock milestones and beating myself up for not being there at a certain arbitrary time. I just fucking just go through the process, and eventually somebody's going to hand me my black belt, and I'm going to cheat somewhere, and that's just going to happen. It's like natural progression of just showing up constantly and trying to put my best effort in every time I show up. In the same vein, when I got into public speaking, I was scared shitless of talking in front of camera, talking in front of the crowds. The first video I ever put on YouTube, I don't know, it's probably still up somewhere. It was, I took like 27 takes or something that were full walkthroughs, and I did like 100 and something takes on the video that weren't, because I was just constantly judging myself. And now, just like I screw up so much in my daily conversation with the camera today, right? There's a lot of filler words. There's a lot of spots where I have to stop and think and figure out what I was trying to say. But I just don't care anymore. If I don't get this content out in the world, I'm driven by this purpose that if I don't get this content out into the world is a worse off place than if I did. So I just accept the fact that I suck in a bunch of areas, work on achieving it, work on being more succinct, work on pausing instead of saying all the time. But I'm not perfect at it, and I'm just accepted that, and it doesn't take me out, and my behavior is shoot, edit, release, and then I release it, and then I cut it to the podcast, and I put it on Instagram, and I just keep moving forward. And that's going to put me strides forward ahead of anybody who is meticulously trying to make their videos the most perfect that they ever could, and then taking 3 months to do it, because my consistency on YouTube is going to, and my watch time is going to shoot up to the levels that I need it to be at. And then as I start to make money from that stuff, then I can buy better microphones. I can sit there and practice my scripts better. I can hire somebody to edit my videos, all of that stuff to make it a little bit higher level of quality and meet the standards of excellence to be at the top level of the game. But I have no business stopping my behavior just because I'm not at the top of the game right now, because I need to do what it takes. I don't need to be at the top of the game right away. I need to go to class every day, do the thing, and develop a deep skill set on getting this stuff accomplished. And I've done so many off the cuff talks, because Owen from Real Social Dynamics, he was my mentor, and he always said, I want to get in front of a camera and just stream of consciousness from my brain and provide value, and I don't really want to do a lot of scripted stuff. And I took that to heart, and I started doing that. So I come up with little prompts. I run, some SEO keyword search analysis, and I figure out what I want to say, and then I just freeform. And some of you guys hate that. Some of you guys would rather have a scripted video of somebody who, took the time to take everything down into bite-sized information and not free flow from their brain. And you guys can find another channel for that, because I'm going to keep doing this. It's not going to stop my behavior of constantly releasing, putting content in the world, building one-on-one programs, building courses, and getting my business to the point where I am serving as many people as I can. Sometime in the future, as a lot more of the stuff is automated, perhaps I'll go back to a more scripted speaking style and learn that thing and then make that be a tool in my tool belt. But at the end of the day, I'm self-accepted in the places that I lack and in the flaws that I have and the insecurities that I have. And it allows me to behave like a person who's a content creator. And poof, all of a sudden here I am, right? And the same thing in game, dating, whatever. I still go out every night that I can. And I talk to random people and I hit on people that I'm attracted to. And I constantly sharpening the sword. Am I the best in the world? Fuck no. Do I have a lot of problems? Yes. Do I have a lot of insecurities and things that could take me out? Yes. Do I let them take me out? No. I still do the work. I still fucking execute the program, like Jeff used to say, and just go. And that behavior makes me a certain kind of person. I am the guy who is not shy to approach, to ask if you want to hang out again, to amp up sexual attraction, to have those kinds of conversations and be super direct. I have no problems doing that stuff because I'm constantly behaving that way. Whether or not I'm afraid of it, whether or not I have insecurities about it, it doesn't matter. I just accept that I suck and I go. I had Tim from back then he was from RSD. I don't know what he's doing now. I think he was doing business coaching now. But he used to say, it's like, all right, time to be creepy. Let's go get our creep on, right? Because we'd have guys in the whole group that are like, oh, I don't want to be creepy. I don't want to, and then they don't approach at all, and they just sit there being weird, lame people in the corner, rather than being people who can actually make a difference in the dating scene. Tip two, focus on your strengths. If you're good at something, never do it for free. No, if you're good at something, go out and do it and focus on that. And then add a little onto your comfort zone to stretch yourself a little bit so that you're good at something even more. If you focus on your weaknesses and you put too much stock in them, what's going to happen is you're not going to take the right action. You're not going to execute the program. You're not going to do the behavior that is necessary for you to move in skill set and gain the reference experiences you need. Focus on your strengths. Just fucking do the shit that works. Also, add some things on that are a little iffy, but from a base of, I got this. And then what'll happen is you get more positive reference experiences and you grow much faster. If you iterate and you fail, eventually you stop failing in that area. Like, you just intuit the skill set that makes you more effective there. So focus on your strengths. Tip three. Focus on self-care. I've harped on this on multiple videos. Self-care is so important, and I'm not going to go crazy into the depth of it, but basically, get enough sleep, eat the right shit, get some exercise and movement in, get flexible, talk a lot, get so that you can feel the vibe of a place. Like, don't let artificial depression take you out because you only slept 6 hours last night. Don't eat a fucking bunch of Taco Bell and then expect your mind to be working in the right way, right? Obviously, there are things at Taco Bell you could eat that are fine, but you know what I'm saying. Like, if you eat a bunch of junk food and then you expect your mind to be fucking working and you to be super and social charismatic, you're just wrong. Like it's not going to work. You can push through it and give yourself, handicaps, but still, you're not operating at your best capacity. Just like, I smoked for fucking, 20 years, right? And I started getting serious last year about my tournament stuff for jiu-jitsu. And then I was just like, now it's time to quit. It's time to stop because it's getting in my way. As much as I can fight well, with all this weird shit in my lungs, it would just be much better if that was gone. And so right before I went to Romania with the Limitless team, I quit smoking. And, it took me, the vape and a couple of patches when I was on the airplane and whatever to make sure that I didn't go crazy and want to kill people. But I look back and sometimes I see people smoking and I want to, I got this drive to do it. I liked I liked how cool it was. I liked how cool I felt. Like I like menthol cigarettes. I like the hit in the back of the throat and whatever. But it's not worth losing a tournament because my cardio sucks. Like it's not. I'd rather pull the medal back and progress in my jiu-jitsu game than have a cigarette, right? Like, and I just found a leverage point that was more important than smoking for me, and I just moved forward. And now that I took that step in self-care, my jiu-jitsu game is much better. My all of my health is much better. My getting out of bed feels much better. So work on the things in your self-care that you can work on, and it will help you immensely from a bunch of unseen ways, right? And number 4, seek support. I do this in almost every video too. You got friends, you got family members, you got a therapist, you got mental health professionals, you got people that you can talk through stuff, you can get support from, because at the end of the day, no man's an island, and you haven't been through anything novel, really, unless you're participating on the fringe edge of stuff. People around you have seen the same situations for generations, and they have strategies, they have tools, they have ways to think and talk to themselves. They have spiritual practices, they have meditative practices, they have all sorts of things that they do, coping mechanisms that they can relay to you and help you become better at dealing with the thing that you're worried about. If you have worried about your own insecurity, your physical insecurities, you can ask somebody who sees you in a different light and they say, hey, what do you think about dealing with this thing? And they'll be like, well, that's dumb. And trust me, when you get my age, that shit doesn't matter because everybody around you's ugly. Or whatever. Like, they can help you out. There are proven ways to build confidence. There are proven ways to get over your own bullshit. And you can reach out to trusted friend, trusted family member, therapist, coaches like me in whatever domain that you're looking in, and try to get through some of that stuff. We actually have a whole thing in our one-on-one program. Me and Jax, we do this one-on-one thing where we basically talk to you every day, and we try to reframe very quickly all the limiting beliefs you run into as you're going out and meeting new people. And it works. As long as you reach out, you follow the fucking thing, you test it for yourself, you take what works for you, and then you keep moving. Self-care. Tip number 5. Remember that everybody has insecurities. You're not any different than anybody else. Most people have issues, right? They have issues with dealing with whatever they're insecure about, and it holds them back. The people that aren't held back are the people who have the discipline to systematically go through and do what the fuck they want to do, regardless of how they feel. So, remember that everybody does it, and the people who are succeeding are the people who are acting right. So get your act right down. Awesome. So that's 5 tips on getting over your fears, insecurities about your appearance. Remember, overcoming insecurities about your appearance, it's a process that takes a while. You start small and you go bigger, 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 bigger. Just be patient with yourself, and if you track it, if you journal it down, you'll be able to see your progress much better, and it'll help keep you motivated to move on forward. Thanks for listening today. If you have any questions, hit me up in the comments below or send me a message over Instagram DMs. I will see you tomorrow, because I do this every damn day. And I think I'm going to introduce Jax to the channel soon, and you'll be able to see his perspective on things. So keep your eyes glued to the channel. If you want to subscribe, do that. Hit the little bell so you get constantly notified. And I will see you tomorrow. Until then, stay awesome.